Welcome to a special series on the CultureCon podcast.
These episodes feature conversations originally recorded live at CultureCon 2024 and first released on the People Forward Network's podcast, Fringe.
The response to these interviews was so strong, we wanted to bring them home and share them directly with you.
You'll hear real stories, insights, and inspiration from CultureCon speakers, sponsors, and attendees captured in the moment right at the conference.
Let's dive in.
Oh my goodness, Jeff Lindemann, welcome to the People Forward Network studio.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're so glad to have you, and I am so excited to talk about your presentation. And the title of that presentation is Creating the Culture You Want. Will you tell us a little bit about why you chose that topic and your passion behind it?
Every organization has a culture. Most organizations don't curate it to be the one that they want. And our experience has been that over decades, culture has been an accelerant of business strategy execution, an enabler of it. And we believe culture is one of our competitive advantages. So I think leaders need to understand that culture exists, whether you have it intentional or not. And it's important to, if you're going to have it, you might as well have it be an additive to business value creation.
I love everything that you just said.
Okay, we're done.
Especially as a P&L driver who believes that people and businesses can flourish.
Yeah.
And I love also the intentionality behind what you said, because to your point, there is a culture, whether you're consciously shaping it or not, there is one. And what I love is that you link culture to business strategy. So I'd love for you to share a little bit more about that.
You know, ultimately what any organization is trying to do is create value. I happen to work for a for-profit organization, but not-for-profits have purpose motives that are driving their behavior. So for value creation, you want your strategy to deliver the intended outcome. And I think what is missing from the point that I made earlier is that most organizations have the strategy, they announce it from Mount Olympus and expect that everyone will be executing it. But what they're missing is that the culture that exists in the organization will adopt the strategy in very different ways if you're not intentional about creating one culture. So we're a global organization. We employ 650 people in companies around the world. We do business in 176 countries around the world. We would be subject to a variety of cultures if we didn't intentionally create one that was unifying, that at WD-40 Company, this is our culture.
There's so much of what you just said that I think is really, really important. And I would love if there's something that you can share about how you went about, or how the organization went about creating that one culture.
We had a CEO in 1997 that took over the organization. We're 70 years old, so we were in existence for quite some time. But at the genesis of his tenure, and he was with us for 25 years, retired a few years ago, he understood the importance of creating an environment where everyone experienced a sense of belonging. And invariably, if you get a crowd of people, as I just did at the CultureCon conference, you can ask the room, have you ever been at a meeting, a classroom, an event, a party where you felt like you didn't belong? And hands go up.
Yeah.
And that feeling of disconnection, isolation is so awkward and uncomfortable. Yeah. So the origins of our culture was in a sense of belonging that everyone could experience. We have a very compelling purpose as an organization. So we create and sell industrial emollients, but our purpose is to create positive, lasting memories in the way in which we distribute those products, in the way we generate those products, in the outcomes that those products create. So we're purpose-driven, and the culture that we've created is values-guided. So our 6 values are hierarchical in nature. So if you're ever unsure, the law or a policy manual doesn't tell you what to do, you look to our values, what's the right thing to do? That's our first value. How do I do it in a way that creates positive, lasting memories? That's the second value. How do I do it in a way that makes it better than it is today? So you sequentially go through all 6 values. That uniform culture translates for me, whether I'm sitting with colleagues from our business in China, in France, in Mexico, or the US.
Yeah, I love that. And you know what I also love that you said too? You use the language of value creation as opposed to productivity. And this idea of it coming from all of us who are parts of executing the business strategy.
Yeah.
And we get to create something together. And there is so much more we can create together when we feel like we belong.
Yes, of course. We run our business from the strategy down, not the spreadsheet up, which gives us perspective, right? So here is strategically what we're trying to achieve. Here are our objectives within X time period. And so how are we doing against that? Not are we incrementally improving productivity? Well, we could do that by firing people and, expecting the same outcomes from those that have the temerity to remain. So I think, this concept of starting with strategy and executing from the strategy down rather than trying to run our business quarter to quarter from what the spreadsheets tell us is really key to creating long-term value creation.
Yeah, I love that. I do want to ask another question that I was really delighted by. In your presentation, you talk about the company's experience in creating and sustaining a culture which provides a 9x return on value created. And you mentioned earlier how this has been going on for decades. I would love for you to talk a little bit more about that, because we've heard a lot of people talk about ROI and whether you can prove ROI or not and all these things. So I would just love to hear your thoughts about that.
So if you were to chart the measure that we've used for the longest time has been employee engagement. So for the last 2.5 decades, that's what we've been tracking. And if you were to track that from 2000 to today, where we've gone from a market cap of 350 million to a market cap of 3.5 billion, price earnings multiple of roughly 50, you would see it correlated to our employee engagement scores. The better they got, the more value that we were creating as an organization for everyone. And so from our perspective, it truly is a competitive advantage for us.
I love that. The people and their engagement being a competitive advantage is pretty awesome. I love that. I love that. If there was one piece of advice you could offer to anyone listening to this podcast about creating culture, what might you share?
I would say that first, it has to be intentional. You have to think about the culture that you want, and that's not you, the office manager or the HR manager. That's you, the CEO. What culture will be the one that accelerates and enables your strategy to be executed optimally? Then start building that, as opposed to delegating it to someone. I shared in the speech that, once upon a time, a business unit leader said to me, people's, morale is down, get donuts. My response was, get your own damn donuts. My people are doing just fine, right? I mean, it wasn't about, people were not missing donuts in the morning.
No.
It was about, did they feel valued? Did they feel like they mattered? Were they having meaningful contributions? And, this was in a business that had, high turnover. It was in the retail industry, so traditionally not one that you would go to for longevity in career. And yet I was in the industry for over 30 years because I was able to grow my accountability and responsibility, and always found value in the meaningful contributions that I made to the organization. So I was lucky with some leaders. And for the leaders that I wasn't lucky working for, who didn't understand it, I learned what not to do.
Right. Because they are your teachers as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there are many more of those than there are the Harvard type professors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a great piece of advice for all of us. Thank you so much, Jeff, for your contributions to CultureCon. I just also feel you gave so many people who want to be culture transformers where they are. You just gave them a bunch of quivers to add into their toolkit. So thank you.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. This has been fun.
That's a wrap on this episode of the official CultureCon podcast.
If you got something out of it, share it with a friend, a teammate, or a fellow culture geek.
And don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode.
And if you want more ways to stay connected and inspired, check out our upcoming events page for a full listing of webinars, workshops, and conferences.
You'll find the link in the show notes, and we'd love to welcome you to a CultureCon event soon.
Until next time,